Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Lorraine Ambrista, Director, Mr. Marcellus Taylor, all of the esteemed members of the hierarchy of the Department of Education, fellow administrators, good afternoon. As school leaders, we've been given the mandate to not only make lemonade out of lemons, but we've been tasked with the responsibility to make the best drink given all the multitude of items the Department of Education has placed in our basket. As a result of attending this latest professional development session, we now have a greater understanding that not everyone can bring lemonade to the party, but we can potluck and bring the best of what we have to offer ourselves. That is why this year's theme for the Department of Education is so fitting for such a time like this. We must rethink, retool, rebuild, transforming the teaching learning experience. And I smile to myself when hearing it because in a separate forum, I am about to rebuild, restore, and reimagine an organization. To rethink the way that we have presented the talents of this country, I now ask you to give a warm welcome to Master Chauncey Wright as he comes to bless our hearts in song.
I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my need. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love.
No doubt Master Wright has a bright future ahead of him, heading into senior school, proud son of C.H. Reeves. Another round of applause. Now at this time, we are now going to hear from our colleagues that would have participated in this conclave through the various sessions. We're going to hear from New Providence, Mrs. Betty Taylor, Vice Principal of Anatole Rogers at this time, followed by Teddy McKinsey and Mrs. Raquel Cox via Microsoft Teams. Let's hear it for Mrs. Taylor at this time.
Good afternoon. I was prepared to use my cell phone and always prepared with handwritten scripts as well. So today I'm going to tell you about the things that I experienced this past 2 days. Are leaders born or are they made? That was the question at the start of the session of empowering administrators to lead with resilience. How to survive, recover, flourish, and just be successful amid adversities. One of the issues was how to sustain your personal resilience. And that could have been done by maintaining your physical health and mental health, and of course I'm going to be working on that. Minimizing stress, connecting with yourself, aligning with yourself with your school's and ministry's values, cultivating a positive outlook. A colleague of mine said yesterday, when we came inside of this building, certain things weren't in place. And he said, well, I could look at it this way, that God has a plan for what's happening, or I could get frustrated. So cultivating a positive outlook. We can do a lot of these things by acting. You are in control. So therefore, you can deal with issues that come up immediately, and therefore, you can do the things that need to be done to optimize your physical and mental health. Plan ahead is one of the greatest things that can be done. I'm one of those persons, if you know me, that have a list of things for every assignment that I'm given. And I wonder if you've had that experience when you have your list all set out and persons come and they interrupt you. And so, of course, being the persons that you are, you decide, okay, I'm going to offer them some help. And of course, that list of things get pushed to the side, and the help goes on and on. And when you come at the end of the day, nothing on that list was completed. And of course, I think that has something to do with your mental health as well, because now you think, what, tomorrow I have all of this on top of what you had planned for tomorrow. So one of the things I got from my session was, and this, my words of course put together, is try not to get frustrated or let other persons who did not plan effectively or fail to plan to cause their action become an emergency for me, because sometimes that is exactly what happens. Their failure to plan becomes an emergency on your part, and of course that adds to the mental stress of what you have to deal with. Another session was the Administrator's Guide to Effective School Leadership. Listen, it is always awesome to collaborate with colleagues and to adopt, let me use the Bahamian word, steal or thief their strategies of how to become more effective. Some of the time we are busy and not really effective, so we need to become more effective and less busy. And I have other situations where one of the things that they spoke about was effective communication. Now, I know many of us have experiences when things don't go right, everything just falling apart, and of course, with dealing with teachers and persons of different personality, they tend to act like children in our minds sometimes. And so we end up saying the things we want to say, and we care less about the environment that it's being said in. We care less about how it's being said. And so one of my takeaways from that session with effective communication is that we have to be mindful of not only what is being said, but also how it's being said, the environment and what it's being said in. Because sometimes we're in the front of colleagues, sometimes we're in the front of kids, but that frustration gets us to the point where we just want to say it and blurt it out at that time. So we have to be knowledgeable about what it is that we have to say, choose the right environment to say it in, be alert, be confident and knowledgeable about everything else. And also, we have other means of communicating. Besides, you have some persons you really don't want to be alone in a room with, and so therefore there are other means of communicating, and so they offered us a lot of suggestions. We here in this education system, we have a wealth of knowledge. We just need to tap into it. There are persons who can help us not to be busy, but to be effective. We just need to tap into it. Today's session, I learned a new word. I may be pronouncing this word incorrectly, but if you know what this word is, then kudos. Verament. Now, I think I'm a math person, so please, please, please forgive me on the pronunciation, English persons, which is the movement of funds within an expenditure head. I now know about the various blocks for line items, that permissions are required for movement within and out of blocks, and the phrase internal control expense, which is very critical when you're dealing with finances inside of the school, because not only do you have to be more accountable, but it also offers and allows for checks and balances. And so this 2 days was an awesome day for me, and one of the recommendations I would put out there is that all of the sessions, every administrator needs, and if it can be offered throughout the year that we can attend, it will be grateful instead of us having to choose one or two things, but every session was awesome, the presenters were very good, and so that is something that we all need. Thank you so much.
We now have a viewing presentation. Mrs. Tiddy McKinsey.
Good afternoon, colleagues. It is my privilege to bring reflections today from the industrial capital of the Bahamas. It is said that we do not grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenges. The past 3 years have certainly been filled with many challenges in the education system, and I'm sure that all of us here today can say without a doubt that we have grown, adjusted, have a new appreciation for life, and have definitely improved in our technical skills. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, John Maxwell. We as leaders must continue to set direction and help those we are responsible for to do the right thing to move forward. And so powerfully stated by our Minister of Education in her keynote address, our responsibilities as administrators are to close the learning gaps and facilitate an aggressive agenda for education reform. We must cut new paths to know what is required for us to create excellence in education. We must do it right. We must be equipped, prepared, responsive, and ahead of the game. The past 3 days have been motivating and have given my spiritual, academic, and emotional life a boost. The session on empowering administrators to lead with resilience with Glennet Reckley was most rewarding for me. I guarantee you that this year I will be distressing, prioritizing, delegating, communicating more effectively, and utilizing my emotional intelligence. As administrators, we must protect our mental state and the mental state of those in our care. Dr. Sean Knowles implores us to eliminate negative stress, bullying, gossiping, and mobbing on our campuses. We must build up and motivate our staff members, not burn them out, remembering that you cannot pour from an empty cup. As the instructional leader of a special school, I am full agreement with the statement, we need to stop calling our children and staff members crazy. Let us normalize seeking professional help. Nelson Mandela states, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. The information that I've gained from this conclave will, without a doubt, help me to rethink, retool, and reboot as I prepare to be that change that I want to see in special education. But I stand not alone in my thinking and appreciation of this conclave. Here are some reflections from my colleagues in the district. Ms. Heal felt that the sessions were revitalizing and very insightful. She stated that she learned a great deal and planned to utilize the knowledge gained to enhance her leadership skills and create a more effective school. Ms. Butler took a lot from ADE STORE timetabling sessions, which emphasized the impact of proper distribution of national staffing to ensure equity in various school models. Mrs. Penniman declared that the session with Dr. Sean Knowles was very informative and provoked reflection. Mrs. Bullard agreed and felt that the sessions was needed and that it is vital for administrators to optimize their health to be efficient. Mrs. Hannah, top 3 takeaways were set SMART goals, foster a positive school climate, and take care of yourself and reduce stress by delegating tasks. Ms. Cooper and myself was elated that Mrs. Sinclair and her team heard our cries and adjustments were made to the EMIS system to make the system more friendly and effective. Mrs. Walker echoed her favorite word, awesome, awesome, awesome. She stated that many reminders were shared, and as administrators, we need to plan and stick to it as much as possible. Be visible, be available, and delegate as necessary. Ms. Roll expressed that this conclave was timely, inspiring, and captivating. She especially loved Mrs. Reckley, our dot model, that admonished us as administrators to act, deal, optimize, prepare, and thrive when building a resilient team. Mr. Butler, our district superintendent, concluded that this conclave was well organized and provided brilliant topics that were timely, informative, and relevant. Hats off to Mrs. Hamilton Grant and the committee members for organizing this beneficial conclave with engaging facilitators, actionable takeaways, and worthwhile information that can be used in our professional and personal life. On behalf of the district superintendent and administrators of the Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Keys District, we wish you all a productive and successful school year as you rethink, retool, and reboot yourself, your staff, the students, parents, and the community to transform the teaching and learning experience this school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Tiddy McKenzie Moss, principal of the Beacon School in Grand Bahama. We'll now hear from Mrs. Raquel Cox, senior mistress at Patrick A. Bethel High School in Abaco.
Please kindly permit me to adopt the protocol established earlier as I greet you. Good afternoon. My name is Raquel Cox, I serve as senior mistress at Patrick J. Bethel High School on the island of Abaco. You may agree with me that this has been a power-packed conclave with a wealth of information that has been shared. The sessions that I attended, in addition to the plenary sessions, included Rethink, Retool, Reboot, Empowering Administrators to Lead with Resilience, Goal Setting and Improvement of Learning Outcomes, Rebooting an Administrator's Guide to Effective School Leadership, Optimal Health and Wellness in an Environment of Constant Change, Promoting Cooperation and Innovation in the Teaching and Learning Environment, Retooling, the Heart of Human Resource Matters, Standards for School Administrators, and Navigating an Effective Promotions Exercise. My assignment this afternoon is to briefly share with you a summary of my takeaways from those sessions. I have been incited to rethink thoughts on formulating goals in alignment with student learning outcomes, the importance of sustaining and fostering resilience as individuals and in our leadership, the importance of fortifying our leadership pedagogy, casting more focus on health and wellness, but especially mental health, paying close attention to signs of mental health distress, as well as being mindful of personal health and wellness and how it impacts colleagues and students, as well as the impact of the combination of collaboration and cooperation along with innovation. I am more equipped with retooling my leadership arsenal with tools and strategies, including the SMART School Model, ADAPT Model, Revised Administrator's Guide to Effective School Leadership Manual, many health and wellness tips, and the big idea of including a reflection day. And finally, I am prepared to reboot, motivated to start again with sharpened focus on aligning goals with student learning outcomes, with clarity about the attributes that foster resilience personally and among teams, utilizing the information and resources provided within the Administrator's Guide to Effective School Leadership, tips on ways to ensure that we are not just functioning, but improving our quality of life. Information outlined in the draft proposals for creating standards for teachers and school administrators, as well as with information gained regarding human resource matters and the promotion exercise. Many thanks to ADE, Mrs. Hamilton Grant, and her team, along with the presenters, for providing these sessions and helping us to rethink, retool, and reboot, and to be able to convey the same to our colleagues, students, parents, and additional stakeholders to transform the teaching learning experience. God's blessings and all the very best for their school year colleagues. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mrs. Cox. Education is the passport to the future for tomorrow because it belongs to those who prepare for it today, the great Malcolm X. As we retool the resources available to us, the way we move forward is by remembering the past. This next segment, we will pay tribute to those trailblazers that have dedicated their lives to the profession. Please pay attention to the presentation. I apologize. I asked them to pause so that our esteemed colleagues at the front could have viewed the presentation. One moment for me, please. Thank you so much for your indulgence. Thank you.
Happy retirement to you, 2022 school administrator retirees. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, dare to live the life you dreamed for yourself. Go forward and make your dreams come true. On behalf of the Director of Education, Mr. Marcellus Taylor, we thank you for all the things you have done for so many years in time and often sacrificially to ensure the success of our public education system. We begin our celebrations with Ms. Annette Parkerson, District Superintendent, Northern New Providence High School District. For 48 years of dedicated service, she officially retires October 2022. Heartfelt appreciation is also extended to you, DS Parkerson, for your faithful service to the administrators and the committee. Happy retirement to you, DS Parkerson. We celebrate Mistress Lois Wins, Principal, Government High School, Northern Providence High School District, for 28 years of dedicated service. She officially retires in October 2022. Happy retirement to you, Principal. We celebrate Mistress Sonia Rowe, Principal, Center for the Deaf, Western Providence Primary District, for 42 years of dedicated service. She officially retired May 2022. Happy retirement to you, Principal. We celebrate Mr. Edward Rowe, Principal, North and Central Andrews District, for 27 years of dedicated service. He officially retires October 2022. Happy retirement to you, Principal. We celebrate Mistress Diane Williams, Principal, Wanakee Primary, Apple District, for 29 years of dedicated service. She officially retires September 2022. Happy retirement to you, Principal Williams. We celebrate Bertha Higgins, Vice Principal, C.B. Bethel Senior High School, Selden Providence Secondary School District, for 38 years of dedicated service. She retires June 2022. Happy retirement to you, Vice Principal McKinsey. continue our celebrations with Mrs. Deidre Martin Ewing, Senior Mistress, Freeport Primary School, Grand Bahama District. For 25 years of dedicated service, she officially retired July 2022. Happy retirement to you, Senior Mistress. We celebrate.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to give a round of applause to our colleagues that are celebrating at this particular time. And at a further date, we will continue that video in celebration. Thank you so much. We have had food for thought. It is now time for us to use the energy into our various environments. At this particular moment, tomorrow, August the 17th, we're asking all principals to report to Loyola Hall at 9:45 with communication and a meeting with our Honorable Minister, Glenys Martin. And at this moment, we are officially closing the 2022-2023 Administrative Conclave. Thank you, and have a good afternoon.